Hello, everyone, and welcome to Youngstown's Talk Channel. You can call in right now, 330-595-1600. We are live downtown Youngstown in Youngstown Studio. Luke, Isaac, and Joe right here with me. We are going to do our thing today. We got great topics for you. As always, our objective of this show is to replace the eventual downfall of radio. So we want you to tune this channel on at 9 a.m. when you walk into work, and we will be with you with a variety of different hosts until you leave at 5 p.m. or whenever you go home. That's our objective. We are going to entertain you here for the next hour and a half today. And we got what are we talking about today, boys? We got a couple topics.
I want to talk about the stupid insurance company. We'll save that.
We can talk about insurance,
health insurance,
how it's such a scam. Health insurance, auto insurance, home insurance. I think it's all a scam.
All a scam.
It's so annoying.
It's not right. It's not. There's so many things we can rant about on all levels of how wrong it is.
100%.
And we'll get into that. I want to
We'll get into that later
because that'll
first things first. I'm going to steal this right from Stupid News Talk Radio, but I heard this on the way in and my jaw literally dropped. I came in, told Joe, Luke, I need you to hear this. I need you to pay attention to this. It's absolutely bonkers. So what this is Gavin Newsom.
Who's Gavin Newsom?
Gavin Newsom is the governor of California on Bill Maher's podcast. It's a Bill Maher show.
Those are two, though you would assume those are two very left-leaning people, correct?
Yes.
Right? I mean,
Gavin Newsom is the golden boy of the left. Like everything happening in California, it's all him. It's the left is what it is. He's the golden boy.
Bill Maher is more of a blue dog Democrat.
Old school.
Yeah, that one.
Gavin Newsom is a very liberal, new age liberal.
All right.
Yes. So you have two.
Okay.
So here. I'll start it up here on my phone. I'll try and put it.
Fetterman was in the news today. He said, if you're talking about the Democratic Party, he said, if we don't get our shit together, we're going to be a permanent minority.
I agree.
And I see you're doing something about it. I applaud it. I think it's great. You've got this podcast. You're talking to people. You know, it's amazing to me that even that is controversial to some people. They call it platforming. If you talk to someone you don't agree with.
Yeah.
I feel like this country is divided into owners and healers. People think you can own the other side. Gavin Newsom owned DeSantis. Yeah. DeSantis destroyed Gavin Newsom. More people who want to talk and heal. And I feel like the next president is going to be, at least if it comes from this party, the Democratic Party, someone who wants to talk and heal. And I feel like
it's really been interesting, the reaction to the podcast. I mean, we had some controversial figures on, I'll acknowledge that, and Steve Bannon, Charlie Kirk, and some others. But you're right. I mean, this idea that we can't even have a conversation with the other side.
you have to. They won.
Thank you.
Wow.
That's the bottom line. And by the way, or the notion we just have to continue to talk to ourselves or we're in the same damn echo chamber. These guys are crushing us. The Democratic brand is toxic right now. We had a high water mark 2 weeks ago, and that was a CNN poll at 29% favorability. It's dropped in the NBC poll down to 27%. It's one thing to make noise, but you also have to make sense. And I think with this podcast and having the opportunity to dialogue with people I disagree with, it's an opportunity to try to find common ground and not take cheap shots. I'm not looking to put a spoke in the wheel of their, or at least a crowbar in the spokes of their wheel to trip them up, to your point. And I think it's important. Democrats, we tend to be a little more judgmental than we should be. This notion of cancel culture, you've been living it. You've been on the receiving end of it for years and years and years. That's real. And Democrats need to own up to that. They've got to mature about this. So
he's gonna get kicked out of the Democrat. Is he taking heat from it?
I haven't heard.
No, I think that was yesterday. I think it was yesterday. He's going to get canceled. They're going to get. He said we need to talk and heal. He called the Democrats judgmental.
Yeah.
He said we need to not be toxic.
He
called cancel culture toxic. And he said that we're going to lose because we only have 29% favorability.
He's going to get kicked out. Like they already tried. The left is already trying to eliminate Schumer because he spoke out or he signed that one thing that they didn't want, or the budget or whatever it was.
Right.
They're going to try and they're going to kick him out.
And just so you know, this is not alt-right. Isaac, Luke, and Joe sitting in a studio talking about this. This is your goal. This is the left's golden boy.
Oh, wow.
Well, isn't that insane?
You know, this might be a reaction to, they had a poll from front-running candidates.
Wow.
And he only got 2% compared to AOC, who got
to be a
double
president.
digits.
I was going to
So
think
I'm thinking he knew he was on his way out, so he had to do something crazy.
that to me, when he was talking, that was presidential talk,
Yeah,
is what
for
that
sure.
was.
Yep.
And he's talked about running for president.
Oh, yeah.
That makes sense. That's presidential talk. That's a play. I agree with Joe. That's a play.
It's a political play.
That's a play.
He was at.
Yeah.
He's trying to pull the people from the middle. Is what
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Moderate.
Yes.
Then he's going to take his 2% up to double digits. That's a good
Right. That's a play, dude. That makes sense. That's a play.
Man, that's crazy.
That's a play.
You're calling cancel culture toxic. The governor of California, where this is like the center, the hotbed of everything left wing.
But that's a play to get the middle votes, is what that is.
I
think
that
you know who that sounded like? You know who
all.
that sounded like? That sounded like Obama or somebody like that.
Exactly.
That sounded like Obama. That was Obama. That wasn't crazy left.
Well,
That
I don't
was
know if that's the
Obama.
best play because you're gonna piss off all either what they cancel him. The left says no, see ya, dude.
Right.
Or the left says okay, maybe we should be less crazy. Like, do you think they're really? You think in today's society? People are going to be like, "Yeah, we were wrong." It's not going to be that.
You have to look at it from an election point of view.
You're
not going to change the thoughts of the total left, the crazy left, or you're not going to change the thoughts of the crazy right.
But the timing is terrible. It's almost like going in the middle of a riot and saying, "Can we just have peace here?"
Yeah, right. I just, but like you said, so what he's gunning for is
the
he's
people in
gunning
the
for
middle.
the middle.
He's gunning for us.
Yeah,
I'm 50%. I'm right in the middle of the political spectrum.
He's gunning for us. Right, exactly. So it'd be interesting to see where
pretty
he goes.
boy.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see where he goes from that. And he was in a nice suit. He was all calm. He, like I said, that was very Obama-ish to me.
That's just
I'm curious to see what everybody else does. Like, what's AOC? Like, she's gonna go out of her mind.
They're
right?
gonna go crazy.
Yeah, they're gonna go nuts.
And I think after that, they go to talk about schools in California, talking about like teachers not narking on the kids with like, "Hey, I'm trans, but I don't want to tell my parents," so the teachers aren't telling aren't telling parents, and they're just keeping it to themselves and like talking to the kids. Why is Patty call me every single time I'm on? And then I just don't know. The left either says this is we're changing with him and we're changing our ideas, which they won't, or they say this is the way we've been thinking all along, and I never actually was that crazy. We were Patty, Maggie,
just in case one of my kids got arrested in school or something.
Got it. Makes sense. But just I'm interested to see what the blowback of that's going to be from the left.
It's going to be dramatic in either direction. Seriously, either he's going to get gang tackled and his political career is over.
Yeah,
or he starts.
But like, as someone in the middle, I think them kind of like it's just that was my entire argument this last election is the right won because the left went too far left.
Yes.
So it's like you're going too far. If you were able to recognize that, if the Democrats are able to recognize that and wrangle it in and kind of not be so freaking crazy and judgmental,
they're doubling down.
No, not so crazy, toxic, and judgmental, which is what he called you guys, not me. He called you that. Then it makes way more sense that the left would be more relevant.
The left lost totally on what they went with in the last election. Fair, right?
Sure.
Like they were too far left, too far gone.
Too extreme.
They were too extreme. The 4 years with Biden, inflation road, like you get all that stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
There, I don't think, and it wasn't so much. It was like, now Trump had his solid supporters, but that wasn't because Biden beat Trump before, right? So it wasn't
Allegedly.
so much. What's that?
Allegedly beat him.
Right? Okay, allegedly, right. It wasn't so much
You friggin'
that
crazy right person.
right. It wasn't.
Nobody wants to admit they lose ever. That's like the biggest problem with America is nobody ever
never lose.
They dig their feet in. Nobody ever says they're sorry. They cheated.
I'll quit before I lose.
Right. Like that is America's biggest issue.
But anyways, what I'm saying is they beat Trump. So it wasn't like Trump was so much better than Biden. It was people were tired of Biden. People were tired of the left talking all that garbage. Like that's why Trump won in my mind, right?
Yeah.
He was able to sway the middle people.
That's how you win an election,
right? The middle people were like, screw this, 4 years of this. We're just gonna go with Trump. We need to change.
Right. Something needs that change.
Right.
It's just too far.
Yeah, exactly. Now, granted, we're getting totally extreme opposite, right? With tariffs and everything else like that. But
right. It's like, why can't it just be reasonable? Like Trump saying, hey,
it's not
everybody, when you go to vote, like we talked about last week, when you go to vote, you need to prove that you're an American citizen. So now it's like, okay, can we just be cool? Can we just all agree that that's probably a good idea? And now you have the fallout of that. There's extra stuff, right? So the left is saying that, oh, this hurts
because
women
you got to pay
because they changed their name,
right?
And you're gonna have to go in if they got married and had to change their name. There's gonna be all these extra steps.
But did you have to do that anyways? Did you get married?
No, it's just like why can't we all just agree? It's not
the other argument. I don't know if you heard this. We didn't talk about this one. The other argument was on that we were hearing on the Post was you have to prove your citizenship when you register to vote
in California. Yeah, in some of the states, are you prove when you register, and that carries you all the way through, and then you don't have to show that same
right
that when you go into the booth to vote. And then some like Ohio you have to show when you show up to vote.
Who you are and where you're from.
Right,
I mean, that makes sense to me because you could move, you could do anything, right?
It's like this isn't some like at least from my perspective. I don't want to tell people what they can and can't do. I just want American citizens voting. Yeah. I don't want any extra crap. I don't want to push down any specific group. I just want to make sure that the only people voting in our elections are American people.
Well, the other argument was there is not enough voter fraud to need that.
It does not matter how much voter fraud there is.
That was
I just want American people voting in the election.
That's the argument.
I don't think extra barriers to entry to try and stop voter fraud, no matter how much there is or how little there is.
I'm just telling you what
I just want to make sure that only Americans.
I'm just telling you what I saw in those comments.
If there is opportunity for it, people will take advantage of it.
Right.
What I would love to see, I would love to see if they, from a national level, make this like this is what's going to happen, and it's harder to vote. I would love to see if there are any changes in the statistics nationwide. That's all. I'm not saying one way or the other.
The argument that was
zero proof for
state isn't responsible for voting, not the federal.
Okay,
I'm just telling you all the argument. That's everything.
Can we all just get on the same page one time and agree?
I'm just telling you what these people are saying.
And it's so frustrating because
I personally don't think there's like if you the main argument that I agree with.
Right.
There has to be a free ID.
Yes.
So then that way, make a free ID that you are a registered voter.
Yeah.
U.S. citizen, a free U.S. citizen badge.
And the other thing somebody said, make it a national holiday. Everybody should be free voting if they can. You know what I mean?
National holiday, close
school, so 18-year-olds can go do it.
Yeah.
It is something everyone should be proud of.
Right.
And
make it a freaking party.
The left says the right secludes people from voting, tries to stop people from voting.
How?
Because you make all these crazy barriers. It's hard for the poor people to vote because they can't afford to get identification. Make it free. So that's my argument. Make it free so that, and then the right says that the left lets too many people vote and you're letting illegal people vote. So it's secluding
and including
and not including corruption. The right says it's corruption. So those are the two arguments. So make it free, but make sure everybody has to bring that ID and that everybody can vote. And for the leftist claim, like the lady was arguing with me, there's no proof that any voter fraud occurs. It's like, are you positive it's zero? Can we without beyond a reasonable doubt say that it's zero? If it's not zero and there's still opportunity there,
right?
You have to end that opportunity.
I agree.
Like
what should be?
I get it.
No,
I totally get it.
I'm not reading that, dude. Talk normal, please. I'm not reading all that.
I don't understand.
So I think there's going to be an indictment today. There was someone who had stolen 400,000 social security numbers. We talked to last
was he with Doge?
It was not with Doge.
Okay.
And so they were handing out social security numbers to be able to sign up voters. And they were using this pool of hijacked social security numbers, 400,000 of them. So if they have an indictment tape, I think Pam Bondi's going to have some kind of press conference today.
Wow. If they can prove it too. Is there proof?
Oh, yeah.
Because it's got to be proof. Because it's just
one guy responsible for just taking the social security numbers and doling it out.
Democrats? Democrats?
I don't know. I don't know anything about it yet.
Too.
So if it's
Isaac, Democrats or Republicans?
If it's Democrats, they'll be. This is what always happens. If it's Democrats, the right will say it's good information, and the left will say, "Oh, Elon found it, and it doesn't mean anything." And if it's Republicans, the left will say that those people, it's a credible source, and this is a good person, and they're great. And the right will say, "No, it's not good information, and it's a scam, and you're lying."
Right.
Like it doesn't matter who it is.
Yeah.
All right. Can I ask you guys about this? This is probably one of the few Elon Musk. I've got some suspicions here. Okay. So there should be some cynicism whether or not a business person who owns 5 different companies that sells stuff to the government gets involved in government, and then starts doling out his products and gets contracts because he's involved, leveraging his involvement. So there's 3 things that the inspector generals have been notified on.
Who are the inspector generals?
What?
Who are the inspector generals?
What is this inspector general?
So it's basically an interdepartmental investigative body that looks to see if there's any corruption within.
So a person working for the department looking to see if
there was anything that was not should. Wow. So anyway, one of the things were that the FAA was being overhauled in some rural areas, and they had a Verizon contract of $2 billion.
Okay.
They're canceling the Verizon contract for $2 billion, and Starlink is filling that void.
God.
Okay.
No.
So now, I want to know, is it that somebody pushed into there? But I want to be able to trust that inspector generals are going to look into it and have our interest, whether or not that kind of shit is happening. Another thing is, go ahead.
I was just going to say, but all companies, AT&T, like there are a lot more companies now that are looking into satellites and Starlink technology following in Elon's footsteps at the same time. So it's like that technology is obviously the future if other companies are trying to now create it and put their own satellites up in space.
Yeah, but you have to ask, would that have happened if Elon wasn't in government?
Right. That would be my question. So again, just for this one, I know you got 2 other ones. Just to review, he took over Starlink took over a Verizon contract.
Hasn't done it yet, but it looks like it's going to be canceled and Starlink's going to fill it.
And it's for, you said for rural areas?
Yeah, FAA, some places like in Alaska where they don't have access to fiber optics or whatever, they're using Starlink in place of Verizon.
What was Verizon doing before?
They were supplying the internet for FAA.
How were they doing it? That would be my
question. Don't know.
Because is it satellite? Is it?
It's probably traditional coaxial regular internet connection.
So is it right that a non-elected official gets to decide? Well,
he's not deciding.
He's not deciding. It's somebody else determining.
He's giving. It feels like he's been given preference, though.
Right.
But has he though?
If there wasn't an alternative and
I'm here to tell you, as a outdoorsman, as a guy who goes fishing in Canada 2 to 3 times a year, northern Canada, no electricity, no water.
Satellite seems like it would be.
Right. We're living on generators.
Yep.
Starlink changed everything.
Yep.
Because
that technology is important.
Oh, it's ridiculous. I mean, when I was up in Canada, I was calling you.
Yeah.
November. That was a place where we never had access. I would go off the grid for 7 days. Nobody talking to me unless I wasn't about to buy like a real satellite phone. So again, I mean, I'm just saying, as long as the technology is better than what you have and cheaper than what you have, and you can prove it, do it. I might say.
So my argument would be, in the past, has there ever been a situation like this where a non-elected official is kind of influencing decisions like that? Companies that we're
all the time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's all it happens. I mean, dude, that's all that happens.
I can think of a really good one.
What?
Anthony Fauci in the vaccines when he determined Moderna and Pfizer were what we're going to use, and then they made $52 billion.
Did he have stock?
So that's the only difference is Elon is is in charge of that company,
right?
So he has interest. It's like
did Fauci have interest? Did they try to tie it to him? I don't think they.
I don't know. They never. It wasn't a huge deal.
If it were you, would you divest and get yourself out of financial gain before you started doing these things, just so it didn't look like impropriety?
Probably.
And
there's two takes on that. Yes, I would. From a political point of view, I would do it.
But he doesn't care about politics.
But he doesn't care about politics.
The only reason he's fixing politics is I would still argue for his own gain in terms of like trying to make the country better for him to run his company and the people and his customers.
My take would be prove that there's something better than my product for the American people. Prove that there's something more efficient. Prove that there's something cheaper, and do that. If you can do it. If Verizon has a better deal, you know what I mean? Do it. Because I'm telling you,
you have to have like a third party decide.
Yeah, which is what those inspector generals are.
Exactly. If you trust that an appointed inspector general is going to be able to,
but then you're going to get into the politics of where is that inspector general from?
Exactly.
Who nominated it?
Interpretation.
It was a Trump appointee. He fired all the inspector generals from the previous administration, and put his own in there. So the second one is NOAA. They do the weather predictions and weather satellites and whatever.
Yeah.
And because Doge went in there, they discovered there's inefficiencies in the systems that govern NOAA. They stripped down what was there, and all of a sudden Starlink or SpaceX becomes the two best options to be able to rebuild it. So that's number two. And again, like
Elon just keeps saving the day, man.
He does. And he's always the best option to fix it. Like that.
Man, you guys better hope he's not an evil supervillain, because when he flips the switch on all this shit, and it all shuts off.
I think that's a great segue into how Elon Musk is going to get assassinated because of what he was talking about yesterday.
Oh, wait. Do the third one. So Noah.
I'm gonna have to look it up.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to look.
I'm just saying.
So wait. That leads us into yesterday. Recording of Elon Musk goes before Congress and asks, "Hey guys, just wondering why Congress has an annual salary of $170,000 and you have to afford two houses, one in your district and one in DC. Those are both very expensive houses. How do you guys leave here millionaires?"
He asked Congress.
Yeah, he's like, that's a little weird, don't you think?
Did he really?
Yeah, it's like he's gonna die.
He asked that.
Yeah.
Yep.
And they're all like, whoa! You can hear him freaking out in the background. He's like, you guys make $170K. You have to afford at least two houses, not including all your
everybody leaves there $1 million.
And everybody leaves there with $200 million. He says, we're gonna start digging into how that's possible.
What did they say?
Bro, you're gonna die.
What did they all say? Did they
You're gonna get
what did they do?
Killed. You could hear them like talking in the background. So like that is not
wow.
And here's the thing. That is not the only thing
that's
Republican. The only thing Republican about that is that he was appointed by Trump. Other than that, there are left congressmen and there are right congressmen
all
that
making
abuse
money.
The system. They all do.
Yeah,
they're all making money off the company.
How do they leave their millionaires, Joe?
Great question. Let's figure it out.
Stock
market,
and they find creative ways to be able to get NGO money
back to the NGO stuff.
Yeah, NGO and stock investment.
COVID, perfect example again. You're going to have to make a decision to lock down.
Right.
You're going to have to make that decision, and it's coming up in the next 2 weeks.
Right.
You take all your money out of the stock market before you make that decision, and then you make that decision.
Right.
So it's going down. You save yourself and let everybody else burn.
I wonder if anybody, when they do that, like, they had to know, like, Pfizer was freaking making those things. Did anybody invest? Did any of the congressmen?
Well, not even that.
Pfizer
not even that. Hey, we'll give everybody a check for $1,600 or whatever. That is going to inflate the market.
100%.
We know that is 100% going to inflate the market. So we take our money out when COVID happens, right before we make that decision, and then we put that money back in right before we give everybody, all the poor people, money. And we know that they're all going to go spend it, blow it in the market on TVs and stuff. We invest in NVIDIA. We invest in all these companies like computer chips. We invest in all this stuff that everybody's going to go buy. And then the stock goes up. So you should not be able to invest in the decisions you're making.
Good luck stopping them from doing that.
Well, they can get creative with it because they can then offload the information to someone who's not them to do the investing.
Right.
That person pops up a business, they pay them back as a consultant, and then you can't tie. It's like mafia tactics.
And I don't even think it ends. I don't even think like even if they'll still find a way to become millionaires, because all you would have to do to launder the money and to switch it up is, hey, I'm an elected official. I'm going to go speak at Pfizer's get together thing, and they're going to pay me $20 million for my or a book or a piece of art or something. That's
exactly.
Buy a piece of art for $20 million.
Right.
Oh, they bought my art that I drew, and it's a stick figure. Pfizer bought it for $20 million. Well, there's no way to really prove that my art isn't worth that.
Yeah.
So,
Mafia shit. Absolutely.
Mafia
it's like it's never going to end. They're always going to be corrupt. But I just don't. I think take them out of the stock market, pay them a higher salary, pay them $500K each. But they should freaking wear a camera and let us watch everything they do all day, except go in the bathroom. Like, I want to watch everything that they do.
I mean, there's just no way those guys aren't making a ton of money. You know what I mean? They wouldn't do it if they didn't make a ton of money.
Right.
They're not doing it.
It shouldn't be about that.
Right. But they're not doing it because they're all super nice people and they want to change the government in the U.S. You know what I mean?
No,
what is the first thing? I mean, what's the first thing they do when they get elected? They start working on getting reelected.
Right.
You know what I mean? They're out campaigning. Like even freaking Ruley was out fundraising. When's he run again? Like, it's crazy how much these freaking guys do that.
Right.
Oh, I don't know what the answer is.
Joe, what's in our water?
What's in our water?
What do you mean?
It's probably in your ice.
Probably is my ice.
How dare you accuse Joe? What if Joe just ricing us? He's like, well, that's the end. You're welcome, everybody.
Should have been talking shit.
Did you guys see that Florida took fluoride out of their water this weekend?
Yeah, what do you think of that?
Oh, I love it.
Why?
Absolutely. Additive. Like when you make your ice, do you rip the fluoride out, or does your ice have all the chemicals, chlorines, and whatever?
Well, he has a store.
Or I have an ice maker, and it's purified water. And I asked Mahoning Valley Water if they put fluoride in their water, and they said no additives. I said, thank you, sir.
Beautiful.
Right.
Really?
Beautiful. Yeah. I asked Mahoning Valley Water if they have.
Well, that's good because that's where we get our. We don't drink sink water.
No, I would not drink aqua.
Well, you don't have. You have a well.
I have a well, but I'm within 10 miles of EP, so I'm sure I'm getting a little bit of that. A little bit of that. Leached into the groundwater.
We went. I am not going to say the restaurant. I will not say the restaurant, but we went to a restaurant in or near East Palestine, and we had water. Okay, I am not lying to you. We had water, and I sipped it, and this is like recently. And I'm like, oh man. I was like, Lucas, taste your water. He's like, oh man. I was like, what does it taste like? Camera tastes it. It tastes like a hot tub.
Chlorine.
And I'm like, this tastes like a hot tub. And I look at Maggie and she's like, I'm not trying it. And I'm like, why does it taste like? I mean, I'm not lying.
It's EP groundwater, dude.
It tasted like a hot tub.
That's why they offered to like pay out people within 10 miles. So they're like, hey, we're gonna give you, you're on the border, we're gonna give you $500. And I'm like, if anything, like if there were to be some class action lawsuit where you destroy something on my 5 acres, it's going to be the groundwater. And that's going to be way more expensive than $500. So like, I'm not taking your money. Get out of here, dude.
I have people still from East Palestine sending us stuff. Did you see like they accused the city manager? Like, I guess they do like tests on like all of the outlets and like all the city, like all the pumps and stuff. And somebody sent me a video of the city. They said this is the city manager at like 1 a.m. flushing like the city, like at the streets, the things before they're tested. I'm like, dude, can you prove to me, like, you got to give me more than just people out there working on the thing
before they're testing the water.
Before they test the water,
dude, that's crazy. Every single person in that town needs a large check, but it's like. How much?
I will be amazed if there isn't issues down the road with that place. Oh, yeah. I will be amazed.
And I think they're saying if it leaches in the groundwater, it's going to take years for it to get to the water table and screw everything up. Dude, and then when that happens,
you're screwed.
Like I'm bathing in it every day, baby. Just in the shower.
I will never forget in my life when I walked out to get the mail after they did that burn off. They did the burn off. And I'm like, I could see because I'm
You
close.
can
I'm
smell it.
freaking close.
Yeah.
I'm down one.
I remember you calling me, hey, go outside.
I walk out there and I'm like, oh, smells like I remember when Dad used to.
Did you smell it outside, Joe? When they burned it off? Oh,
Absolutely.
that was weird.
Yeah, and I'm like, that smelled like when Pop used to like put chlorine in the swimming pool.
Yeah,
and it was just everywhere. Like that's what I smelled.
Just,
I'm like,
and then they're saying don't go outside. It's like I'm like, dude, we just got through COVID, and now we're freaking
the boys were playing
poison.
I'm like, boys, I think we should probably go inside and close the window.
What the hell, man?
I was just like, I mean, that is crazy that all happened. They burn it off. I mean, we could talk about that for a freaking time too. We've talked about that.
I know. Insane.
I don't trust anything they did. I don't. I think some people are allergic. Remember when those people came in? Did you know this?
Yeah,
we had
it's freaking
people
weird.
from East Palestine. We interviewed people from East Palestine. Okay, and they said some people react badly to the stuff, some people don't.
As they're talking about it, and these are people that live in East Palestine, I'm like rubbing my eyes and like my face is getting red.
Dude, he blotches out.
I'm like, guys, I'm not trying to be rude here, but like I'm having trouble breathing.
Yeah,
and
he like blotched out.
This is in the studio.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
we could.
I don't know if it's on your clothes or what, but like, I am
yellow, like red blotches on his face.
Like maybe it's mental thing, and I'm just like having an anxiety attack or something. But like, I am not doing well.
But he had like a red. I mean, it was
yeah.
Weird. It
like,
was
this is weird. I was like, is it on your clothes? Could it be on your clothes? And they're like, yeah. I was like, that's just I couldn't live down there.
Yeah, it was crazy. So, all right, insurance talk. You ready to talk about insurance?
Yeah.
Is there anything else we want to cover before you? Because I'm gonna go off of freaking rails on this.
No, I don't know enough about this topic, so I'm good to go.
All right, but so
as we talk, guys, feel free to call in 330-595-1600.
Give us some likes too, by the way.
Also, go down below. We have 20 people in here right now. Give us a like, give us a follow. Go follow the MLO Bros. Go follow Youngstown Studio and calls. We're realtors, loan officers. Joe's a studio. He can make you a podcast hero as well as record awesome music if that's what you want to do too. Whatever you want to do.
That was super awesome.
But yeah, okay. We're going to talk about insurance.
All right.
Insurance, go.
So let's start with health insurance. Okay. Health insurance. I don't even know where to start with health insurance. What a crock of shit that is. 10,000. I'll pay that.
So what is this?
So what's going on now? And this is what kind of hard is Cigna. And I'm going to do my best to explain it. If you guys watching at home want to help me here, that's fine. Cigna and Mercy Health are in negotiations for like payment. Like when you go to the ER, say you OD on weed.
Yeah.
You go to the ER.
Nice.
Just throw that out there. Yeah. And then the provider, like the service provider, which would be Mercy Health, will send the bill into Cigna.
Okay.
And then when you get your bill, it'll say $2,000 for a marijuana test to see how bad you were.
Okay.
And then there's like an agreement between these two things that say, okay, we're only going to pay you $1,000.
Yeah.
Like, and that's the agreement. Like, so something like that. Right. And then I have to pay a deductible. Right.
Yeah.
So that's what they're fighting about right now is how much they're paying each other and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
Where this all comes back to, and they did a 24-hour extension too because they couldn't agree.
Right.
Cigna is saying, listen, people, we're doing it for you. We want to keep your health bills down as low as possible. We don't want you to pay a lot. Mercy Health is saying, we're doing this for you. We're trying to get your insurance company to pay the amount of money. You know what I mean? We're doing it for our doctors so we can pay them. We're doing it for our nurses so we can pay them and we can keep our health care low. All this comes down to is freaking money, right? When these companies, now Mercy Health is a nonprofit, technically speaking. They're a nonprofit. However, Google how much their CEO made.
Right.
Millions.
Right.
Okay. Directors, millions. Cigna, like $1 billion company.
Right.
All of this freaking scam because think about how health insurance works.
Right.
I didn't realize until I had kids how important health insurance is. Right. Like it is super, super important. If you're looking for jobs, you need to be asking. The first thing I ask is, what am I making? What am I getting paid? Second thing I'm asking, how much is health insurance?
Right.
Because health insurance, and show me the deductible, show me the out of pocket, show me what's covered, show me what's in network, right? Yeah. if you're not asking that, you're going to get screwed.
Yeah. I'm in that situation right now.
Yes, exactly. You're going to get screwed if you don't know what they pay for, right? And then you get into let's talk about the insurance. Just as a company, I pay $250 a paycheck. $300 a paycheck just for me.
Yeah.
Right. So $300 every 2 weeks I pay I pay to American Blue Cross Blue Shield, whatever that's called. Right. So then, for example, we're going to use my example. I have a medical emergency while I'm golfing.
Right.
Right. And I'm just familiar with this right now. Medical emergency. Remember that, Joe? The medical emergency while I'm golfing.
I do remember that.
Which involved a ambulance ride.
Yes.
Which was $1,000.
Tried to talk you out of that, by the way. Just want to throw that out there.
I was out of. I know you did.
I
appreciate that.
Tried really hard.
Wasn't going to happen.
Vehemently.
Yeah. Which was $1,000.
Yeah.
The hospital in the ER.
Yeah.
Was $1,800 for the ER visit and $3,500 for everything else. Like the tests, like the doctor.
Okay.
Dude, we're looking at $5,000 total.
Okay.
So I pay $300, or I'm sorry, a month for my insurance, right? When I get to it, I get my bills. I get all these bills and nothing was covered. And I'm like, why is nothing covered? Right. I gave them my provider information. I gave them my Blue Cross Blue Shield stuff. I start calling the insurance company.
Yeah.
And they say the providers didn't turn in the right code. I'm like, what the hell does that mean? What code? They're like, they need to put this code in. So I call I call Mercy Health. Oh, your insurance company isn't accepting it. You have to pay out of pocket. I'm like, I just talked to them. They said you didn't turn the code around. Well, we'll try and redo it. So they try and redo it. Month goes by, denied again. What? Why? You know what I mean? Like, what is going on? I'm covered. So I call my work. HR has to get involved because they call Cigna. They call Blue Cross Blue Shield, the people that are like, it's not Blue Cross, it's the company we're going through. They have to submit everything and then it gets passed.
Yeah.
I'm like, what was going on? They're like, well, the code was wrong because we're in New York and they were billing this. I'm like, what the? Like, people, and all I'm thinking to myself is if people weren't like me that weren't doing that, they would just pay.
Right. And just I don't want to deal with it. I'll pay. Especially if you're like have enough money to just pay it.
And that means Blue Cross Blue Shield doesn't pay a penny.
Yeah. Or somebody has really, really, really good credit and you're terrified that they're going to hit your credit. So I'll just pay it. I don't want my credit to go down because I need to buy a house next year or something. You know what I mean? It's like they're just hoping to like scare you into paying it.
Now let's get into it even more.
Why do I have insurance?
Let me keep going here. So I'm paying $300 a month. So now we get it straightened out. Okay.
Yeah.
I have to still pay oh, by the way, the freaking witch, I hate talking about local companies, but the freaking ambulance company.
Yeah.
What's it called? What's the name of some ambulance companies? Lane.
Okay.
What a witch on the end of the line. What a freaking bitch. Excuse my language. I call her and I'm like, hey, my insurance messed up. Well, sir, you got to pay. I was like, I'm working with my insurance. You need to pay right now. Like she was trying to strong arm me. I'm like, I'm not paying you a freaking penny. Well, we're going to send you. I was like, ma'am, stop threatening me and work with me here because she's trying to start. She goes, well, your insurance isn't good. I'm like, bitch, I'm going to fucking go through the phone. Right. Like, I was like, it was bad. I was like, obviously, I was like, I don't know if you're used to dealing with like people that don't pay you, but I will pay if I owe it. Right.
So, but I want to exhaust all resources if I can to make sure that if I am covered, it's covered.
Yes.
They pay you. I want to get you paid too.
Yes.
But first things first, I want to exhaust all resources. You being rude isn't helping that along at all. It makes me not want to pay.
Yes. Nasty.
Yeah.
Nasty. So I still have to pay $450, even though I was insured. The only good thing is, remember I talked about the $1,900 and the $3,000?
Yeah.
I only have to pay a deductible, no, a copay of $175.
Sounds good. Yeah.
For that entire thing.
Sounds good.
So
yeah.
For our little fun trip to the ER that we had,
yeah.
it was $500, which I don't think is that bad. Yeah. Right? Now, here's the problem though. Do the math of me paying $300, $300, $300, $300, right. $300, $300, right. $300, $300 every month.
Right.
I'm losing.
Right. You're still losing.
I'm losing.
Yeah.
I'm losing. And then you get into like prescriptions. Okay. I was trying to get on that Wegovy stuff.
Yeah.
I got denied. Mm-hmm. They said their company doesn't cover it because it's not a medical need. Weight gain isn't a medical need.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, do you want everyone to be fat?
Yes.
So then that way you make more money.
Yes, they do.
Right? My doctor, who is a trained person, is telling you, I need this drug.
Yeah.
And I think this goes on all the time where you have these insurance companies will say, we don't think you need this surgery. We don't think you need this. You need prior auth. Who the fuck are these insurance companies to tell a doctor what you can or can't do?
Right.
Like it's insane.
Yeah.
I don't know. And it's the same with car insurance.
Yeah.
Car insurance, the same thing.
Hey, Sarah, call in. Tell us what it's like to go through insurance as someone who's had cancer. So then you have the opposite of that, right? Which is me, which is I diet, I exercise, I take my vitamins. I do a good job of not using health insurance at all whatsoever, at all. But I still pay the same bill as you. So I still pay $300 a month or $350 a month. For the past 5 years, I haven't gone to the doctor. 3 to 5 years, I haven't gone to the doctor. Every single month, I still pay that bill. And then when I go to the doctor and I get something done, they still charge me like whatever it is, a couple $100. And they say, oh, it would have cost you $3,000. I should have just freaking saved my money.
Right.
But the problem is if I walk outside, drop over with cancer.
Right.
Then what am I going to do?
Dead.
So then we hear Sarah's.
Read Kellen's.
Kellen says, my good friend's doctor recommended a treatment for her migraines. Her insurance company insists she tries 2 other drugs first before they cover the doctor recommended treatment.
Who is your insurance company to say this is doctor's wrong?
Right. Right.
That insurance company, I guarantee that money, the drug, that doctor recommended is more money than those other 2 drugs.
What I would love is like an insurance company. I would love some kind of option, but there is no competition. So they can't it's just, this is the government insurance companies. It's a monopoly.
You want to look that one up? Oh, we got to call it. Call?
Yep. Go ahead, caller.
It's Sarah.
Hey.
Sarah.
Screw insurance.
Okay, tell everyone your perspective, where you're coming from. What is your health issue? If you don't mind telling everybody, you're airing out your dirty life.
Okay. You guys, it's breaking up so bad.
It's breaking up?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you just fine. You're coming through great.
Okay, maybe it's because I just got off Wi-Fi. So insurance. I was diagnosed with cancer in 2022, but first, before any of that, started in January of 2022. I had to go through so many different tests, so many different doctors, everything just to get a cancer diagnosis. So I was at Mercy Health, Stewart Medical Group, but who else? I forget who else before finally I begged to get a referral to Cleveland Clinic. And they still wouldn't refer me to the correct doctor. They referred me to a plastic surgeon, ENT, because of the issues that I was having with my neck. But they made me go through so many different tests because insurance wouldn't cover anything. So it made me go through everything before they would do a biopsy, before they would do the CAT scan, before they would do anything. And I was misdiagnosed twice.
Oh my gosh. And then during, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, during this time, you're racking up bills. What was your insurance like at the time?
So I didn't have max out, I didn't hit my deductible, the max out of pocket, nothing. So I was continuously getting bills, but also with all these appointments, I don't think anybody realizes how much time you miss off work.
Right.
For 2022, I calculated I missed about, I want to say like 5 months or 4.5 months. I forget the exact days, but I calculated it for how much work I actually missed for that year. So I was already losing out on all of that, and insurance wasn't covering anything. 2022, other than my major surgery in Cleveland, which I still had to pay an ungodly amount, thousands. And I have, employer, sponsored health insurance. I pay, I think I have like the best plan. So I'm at like $350. Or no, it's more than that because it's like $200 every paycheck. So I'm almost at like four something a month for health insurance.
So you had to pay out of pocket for surgeries they wouldn't let you get?
So, okay, so here the first surgery was after I went through all the tests, had to pay, the deductibles, all the co-pays to the doctors, just different things. The first surgery, it was like $200,000.
Wow.
That I hit my max out of pocket and my deductible with that surgery. So everything after that,
there's a max out of pocket? I don't know. You have a max out of pocket?
So you have a deductible. My deductible, I think at the time was like $4,000 or $2,000. I can't remember.
That would be
because I had to switch my plan.
Okay.
And then you still have a max out of pocket.
Really?
So you have to hit both the deductible and the max out of pocket before insurance will cover everything, and then you don't have to pay anything.
Okay, right. Yeah. That makes sense. Right. Okay, I have that too because like my top of my head, I want to say my deductible is $2,000, right? And then I have a max out of pocket of like $5 or there's $6, and it's like after I hit my deductible, I have to pay 20% of whatever it is until I hit my max out of pocket, something like that, right?
Yeah.
But on 200,000, I mean, that you're going to hit that immediately, right?
Well, so at first, I was still paying everything. I mean, I still have, I think, like $15,000 in medical debt because of the last, few years. Yeah. So after my first surgery, I hit that, but I had my surgery in June. Then, went through radiation. So all that was done. And then, the new year started and I was still, the meds. That was the biggest thing was my meds cost me. I mean, I was paying $400 a month for meds.
Insurance wouldn't cover
they were free. Well, hold on. So insurance was covering them because I had already hit my deductible and my max out of pocket. But once the new year hit, everything started over. And then I go to pick up my meds and they're like, oh, it's like $300-400. And I'm like, what?
It doesn't carry over every year.
So,
every year you're going to have to reset it.
No.
Wow.
Yep. So, and then, I did like, everybody's like, oh, I'll do the good RX. Oh, and what is this? One of my prescriptions is cheaper for me to not use insurance than to use good RX card.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's cheaper for me to not use my insurance for one of the meds that I'm on.
Probably because the agreement between the pharmacy and the car. Yeah. Right. Wow.
Yeah.
I got a question though. How do you have $15,000? Not to get totally in your personal life here, and you know my answer. How do you have $15,000 in debt when you maxed out your insurance? Like you know what I mean? They should have been paying for something.
So just because, so once you hit that, whatever your deductible is, your $3,000, and then I think mine was like $5,000 or $6,000 max out of pocket. I would have to look. I really can't remember.
Right.
So obviously I don't have that, and especially because I wasn't working, I don't have that to pay. So my medical bills.
You didn't have insurance because you weren't working.
No, I had insurance. So just because you have to pay those things, you don't have to pay them right then and there. Insurance will still kick in. So I owe that to Cleveland Clinic. I don't owe that to insurance. So insurance will still do their thing. but now I owe the medical provider that money.
That's the total,
so
the deductible and stuff like that. I gotcha. Okay.
So, and that will, I can, do that by, that goes over, but with Cleveland Clinic, you can't just pay $5 and be on your way.
Right.
I think my minimum payment for Cleveland Clinic right now is, I think it's like $100 and some odd that I pay every paycheck.
Wow.
So $200 a month still, because they wouldn't see me. I wasn't able to go and be seen because I wasn't paying on the bill.
Right.
And you can't just pay $5. I was taking pictures of it because I tried to do that on my chart and they wouldn't let me.
Right.
Like I tried to pick what I could pay and they wouldn't let me. They said I have to pay at least this balance or like this much every 2 weeks or every month.
Wow.
Well, thanks so much for calling in, Sarah. We'll discuss here. We appreciate you, and I mean that is just not fair. But
well, one more thing that I do want to say to make it even more real. So this last year, I had another surgery. They wanted, different scans. I was supposed to get one scan. They wanted to do a whole lymph node mapping instead. So once I got that, then they were able to do the other scan. So they make you go through all these tests before they'll even approve. I was denied so many times for so many different procedures or tests, and they make you do it. They make you go through all that in order to get.
So insurance denied. Insurance denied your tests.
Yeah, so insurance denied the CT scan, and they did like a lymph node mapping, where they just used ultrasound on my neck. I laid there for like an hour while they were, taking pictures or whatever for the ultrasound, but they denied the CT scan, and the CT scan would have given them more information than that lymph node mapping.
Yeah, it just doesn't make sense. Why?
Well, it's a money thing. It all comes down to money. They're saying you could just do the other test.
It's stupid.
Right.
It should be a situation where it's do everything you got to do. We exhaust all resources to get you healthy.
Right.
And then after the fact, we'll argue with the insurance company and figure out where we stand. Like, why is that not the correct way?
Because they're stupid. Because they money. Because they made because Cigna made 2.8 billion.
But you're playing with people's lives.
Yeah,
you're playing with people's
because
lives.
You can't get the right test.
Yeah.
What?
Well, Sarah, I'm so sorry that you're going through that. It's absolutely terrible, and we hope you get healthy and
stupid.
Get cancer free. And how's everything looking now? I mean,
I have another tumor in my neck, so.
Holy crap! What did you?
Is there any one I can grab with my fingers?
Do they have any idea like how this started, how this happened, or is it just like it's just something that grew over time because of unknown reasons?
Yeah, it just happened, and then I had my second surgery to remove another. They're technically not called tumors; they're called nodules.
Yeah,
whichever, but they grow. They're masses. I had one in 2024. Yeah, 2023 or 2024. I can't remember. I had that removed, and then not even 6 months later, another one popped up, and that's the same one, and that's in my neck. And they want me to have surgery again, and I refused because it put me down so bad. And I honestly don't want to take any more time off work.
Oh my God, that's horrible.
Oh my God. Somebody.
But yeah, this one I laugh because this one I can actually grab with both my fingers and like hold on to it at my neck. So it's creepy.
That one right there, Ohio House.
Well, thanks, Sarah. We're gonna keep going here, and we got lots of comments coming in and everything. But I seriously get better, and we'll see you around. And thank you so much for calling in.
Not a problem. Bye.
See ya.
Bye, Sarah.
What do you want to look at?
Dude, I hate Mike DeWine.
What do you do?
Hate him.
Why? What do you do? Random.
In recent months, Ohio has seen legislative activity related to the medical freedom, focusing on healthcare professional speech, patient rights during public health emergencies, and individual rights to refuse medical treatments. Veto of medical free speech provision. In January 2025, Governor Mike DeWine vetoed a provision within the House Bill 315 that aimed to prevent state health regulators from disciplining healthcare providers for expressing medical opinions that diverge from official state opinions or positions. The proposed language sought to prohibit the Ohio Department of Health and state medical and pharmacy boards from penalizing licensed healthcare providers for publicly or privately expressing a medical. Wait, never mind. That's not what I thought it was. Not what it. Sorry, that wasn't.
I'm somewhere in the middle on this, right? Like the leftward leaning brain of mine thinks, how is that fair that somebody like that just random loses the genetic lottery and gets tumors in her neck and she has to pay all this money out of pocket? How is that fair? And then there's somebody else like me who has the advantage of I'm healthy and no problems ever arise, and she's just down 15K or whatever it is, and she's like fighting this crazy battle and they don't want to help her at all. Like how is that? How should that not be like in my mind? It's like just give the girl her money. But then the conservative side of me is like, well, if there wasn't so much regulation on this and companies were able to compete to have better healthcare options, maybe the price would be way lower and she would be taken care of.
But you don't have a choice with the company. Like our company has one choice to pick from. Yeah. Like I can't shop. I guess I could shop and go to like the exchange, which isn't. Are you on the exchange?
No, I'm on like the government crappy insurance because it's the cheapest option. It's $300 a month. Right. But the problem still arises where I'm still losing because I wish it was a system where I'm putting $350 in per month, $350 per month. It adds up. 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 And then like,
oh, you're losing money.
Right. So over time, it's like, okay, even if I get $1,000 treatment in a year from now, like, can't it just go to the pool of money that I've been giving you? Yeah. Can't it just be taken from that pool and I'm still up? No, I'm still up $4,000 on you guys.
Well, yeah. Well, so Maggie has the teacher insurance, which is really
it's government good. Insurance,
right? It's really it's a school state teacher.
Yeah, it's a state insurance. Yeah,
the boys are on that with her. Okay, it's like $300 a month. And they get covered for everything.
Everything, yeah.
If she wasn't a teacher and they were on my insurance, so my insurance, I can't go on her insurance because I have my own insurance.
Yes,
mine's like $600 a month, whatever it is. If she wasn't a teacher, it would be $2,500 a month for all five of us.
That's insane.
$2,500, and then you pay your deductibles for each person.
Right.
I mean, I couldn't do it.
So it's like the teacher's salary might be lower, but their health insurance is so good. If you're
disgustingly
an unhealthy person, it's good to be a teacher.
I can't say. I would imagine if it wasn't for health insurance, Maggie would be a teacher anymore because it's just
right.
Yeah, it's not worth it.
That is so frustrating.
Sarah said she's sorry if she swore. We're not on the radio yet, so it's
totally. But man, I mean, that is something. Joe, as somebody who is in terms of doesn't want any government regulation, what do you think? What's your
dude? I'm so opinionated on this. I almost don't want to share my.
Go, Joe. Let's go, Joe.
This is a mathematical thing.
Okay,
like
right.
Insurance companies have no business managing healthcare at all.
Because what they do.
Insurance companies you are insuring against a certain outcome.
Correct.
So you would be a good insurance company candidate because you're like, I don't want to get sick. I only want to cover catastrophic stuff.
Right.
Let me save a bunch of money in case something happens. I'll just pay for it myself.
Right.
Things that are very unlikely to happen, I'll pay a token $100 a month to insure against. That's what you're insuring against.
Yeah.
But if you have people that have a certainty that they're going to get sick, what are you insuring against? You know what I mean? Like the high risk people almost have to pay more because of how likely it is. So I wouldn't want a sick person and Isaac to be even in the same pool, because all that's going to happen is the person that's never going to pay a premium enough to cover what they're most likely to get is going to come from you who are doing other things. So this group over here needs to be sheltered from the risk. There has to be stipulations, what you got to eat, what workout regimens you got to do and whatever, and dictating the controls to lower the risk inside that pool. They have to take everybody. It's not like they can make people do different lifestyle choices. It's almost like, hey, do whatever you want to do. And then when you need Ozempic and you need, heart medications and whatever, it's just it's just terribly managed. And there's no math that actually works on this except for somebody reimagining how it should work mathematically.
Right.
Take care of one segment and then allow the other.
And then what about the people like? What about someone like me who's healthy and I don't go to the doctor ever, but then I get some crazy ass brain tumor and I turn into Sarah out of nowhere?
Yeah,
they're supposed to cover it, right?
Yeah, well, just like auto insurance, like the stuff that's very on an actuary table. You take an event from happening, an event that happens, and you find how likely it's going to happen. So it's likely you're going to get in a crash on the highway is going to be one represented. One that you're going to, go off a cliff and kill 5 people is a different percentage chances.
Right.
So you insure against the things that are millions of dollars of payout, and the couple thousand one you'll just carry yourself.
And then you have auto and home insurance. Our friend, who I don't even want to say his name because I don't know if he'll get mad or not. He's sitting at home, and a car from the intersection near his house. He lives on a corner. A car hits his house. After hitting his house, scrapes the side of the house, totals his car in his driveway, and then backs up, drives away. This kid's sitting on the stinking floor in his house. Here's a boom. Eventually goes outside. The neighbor's outside freaking out. Like, do you see what happened? Do you see what happened? He gets on his Ring camera, sees this all unfold, but doesn't get a license plate. Insurance company says, well, your car's totaled. Sorry, bud. We can't we can't put it on them. So you got to pay something to get a new car. We're going to have you pay a deductible or whatever. And then you have to pay this much money to fix your house up. Or just not, we won't fix it, but like, this is how much money you have to pay out of pocket to fix your house. And it's like, okay, how is that? How am I paying a dime when I did nothing wrong? I'm sitting on my freaking floor in my house and somebody hits my house. Why am I paying anything?
Yeah, right.
That doesn't make sense.
Because they're
why do I have
the person that hit fault?
But you didn't find him. That's not my fault. It's your fault. Find him.
Yeah, right.
Like, that's you.
He ended up paying for all that stuff, like the deductibles and stuff.
He had to pay deductibles and everything like that. I don't understand what the point of insurance is if they're not going to cover it.
Right.
Like, why do we even have insurance? Why am I even
they're
paying
covering some of it.
But why?
Yeah.
Like, why are you only paying some of it? Take freaking care of it.
Right.
I don't care.
Well, then
if I don't like, and then everybody says, well, life's not fair. That's just not how it works. I don't give a shit. Fix the system. Like, fix the freaking
what is the
system.
answer? Do you go socialized medicine and make all of the risk liability somebody else's deal, or do you just do catastrophic things and make it less of an inconvenience?
What's the answer?
I think the answer, honestly, is I hate giving the government responsibility. Nah. I think a mix. I don't think it's right that somebody gets cancer and has to pay money for that. It's not right to me or fair to me that she just gets a freaking lump in her neck and now she's $15K in debt. It does not make sense. Like,
especially when you're covered by insurance.
Right. And I am a loan officer and a real estate agent who checks people's credit. And I see every day that people do not know how to handle money, and that's their own fault. And I do not feel pity for those people at all because they're stupid. But that is a completely different pool of people than people who get cancer and they're good people and it just doesn't make sense. And then they get this bill dropped on them. And then their credit tanks, and then the rest of their life suffers because they got cancer and they can't live in their house. Like, that does not make sense to me, and it's just not fair, in my opinion. So you need to fix something. Like, throw the system out the window.
But as the person that gets the lump in the neck, don't you want really high-paid, skilled, specialized oncologists and people who specialize in that?
Yes.
Who pays them?
Oh man, I don't know. I'm not smart enough to figure it out, but there's somebody is. Like,
there has to be control on the insurance companies as far as if you're going to do insurance, you have to respect what the doctors say, right? And if I want this test and I'm insured by you, you should have to do it. But the problem is when you say that, I'm thinking about it in my head. Okay, cool. But then everybody's insurance is going to go up to pay for all that shit.
Exactly.
Right. That's the problem. Wow, I don't know.
You don't have an end to this, because if you do too much, it's going to cover the consumer better, but then nobody's going to offer insurance for anything that anybody can afford. Or if they just go out of business altogether, like, what are you going to do if there's no such thing as an insurance company, because nobody wants to hold that back?
Right. You get the government involved, and then you're going to be paying through taxes.
Yeah, exactly. They're incredibly inefficient, but it's like, hey, you just found $1 trillion in debt, or $1 trillion in waste. Let's use that to help the people like who freaking get cancer at 30, and they just lost the genetic lottery. Like that. Yeah. That is better. That is better.
What's a functional medicine doctors? Functional med. I don't know.
Kellen has a good question about real estate. How do you guys feel about home warranty companies to fix appliances, HVAC, etc.? What a total scam those are. You'll pay forever to keep band-aiding a problem, and they will never pay to replace anything. I never get them.
All right. So I have an opinion on this.
Okay.
Let me see. Can I say my opinion first?
Yeah, go ahead.
Read the fine print. Read the fine print on those. Sometimes they're good. Sometimes they're bad.
Right.
Okay. They don't cover everything.
Yeah.
Regardless of what your agent says, regardless of what the guy says. It's like rolling the dice, right? It's a roll of the dice and gambling. So I did a warranty one time when I bought a house. Hot water tank exploded. It was covered. Okay. Covered it. Good. Saved like $400, right? Perfect. Did a warranty the second time. Didn't look at the fine print. Remember my hot tub or my jacuzzi tub was leaking?
Yeah.
Call the home warranty company. We don't cover pipes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I was like, well, what do you cover? Well, we would cover the bathtub, but not the pipes underneath the bathtub.
Right.
Right. And I'm like, okay, great. So it paid off one time. It didn't pay off the other time.
Right.
So you just got to read what it's covered and kind of.
Kellen, what I would do and what I recommend my clients do is, if you're buying a house, ask the seller to pay. If you are demanding a home warranty program, ask the seller to pay for it.
Yeah. And then you're covered,
out of their proceeds, and then you have it. But if they're refusing to pay it and you're in it, I wouldn't get it. I would just save up the money yourself. And if something goes wrong, going into purchasing a house, that you have to have reserves set up so that if something goes wrong, you can replace it.
And you got to watch too, because if the real estate agent is pushing the home warranty,
they could be getting paid.
They get
per referral.
They get paid by the referrals. We don't do that. We don't get paid.
We're not allowed to, because of the real estate or the loan officer side.
They will get paid for pushing.
They have programs where they will. Real estate agents get paid cash for their referrals that they send to that is why they're all in bed. That happens with a lot of things, including loan officers. Everything paid for referrals. Title companies,
title companies, they own stock.
They own stock in title companies. They're getting paid per deal they refer. We're not allowed to do that because we're also dual licensed as loan officers, and it's a RESPA violation. But all of them are in bed together.
Or all another classic is the real estate agent and the loan officer split marketing and advertising.
Yeah.
So you see on Zillow, you'll see a realtor, and then you see right next to it, financing by blah, 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 blah. Yeah. They're splitting the financing for that.
Yeah.
So it's to pay for the advertising with Zillow and realtor. Who do you think that realtor is going to send you to? Because they're paying for marketing.
They're sending you to that loan officer, not because they're a good loan officer, but because they are giving them value, which is advertising, which is why they want you to go to that.
Totally legal.
What you need to do as a client in real estate and in mortgage and in all these things, you need to ask your loan officer, your real estate agent, why are you sending me to this person? Are you sending me to this loan officer or this title company or this
why are you
home warranty program because they're good, or are they paying you something?
Right.
And then when they say no, they're great, you say, okay, are they paying you something?
Right.
Is there some kind of are they paying you advertising?
We hit a nerve now, Joe.
You have to ask them.
We hit a nerve with that.
Because they're all in bed together. I promise you.
This
is why real estate agents hate us.
This is why we became realtors and loan officers.
We became real estate agents and loan officers because I was approaching real estate agents as a loan officer. Hey, I want to take care of your clients. I can help. Sorry, can't talk to you. I'm already working with so-and-so. They pay for half my leads. That is BS.
Yeah.
Because you are saying that's not what's best for your client. It's what's best for your pocketbook. That is everything I have an issue with realtors and why they hate us, because I speak out about it.
And that is 100% an issue. It has always been an issue.
Yeah.
It is
like
brutal.
I'm not allowed to, as a real estate agent, there's a code of ethics. I'm not allowed to bash real estate companies anymore.
Just go to some of the real estate companies around the area and you will see a real estate company and a mortgage company in the same building with the same signs.
And they will say, Isaac, how dare you? You're dual license. You force everybody to use you as a loan officer. No, I don't. Go wherever you want for real estate. Go wherever you want for mortgage. I just want to help you. I'm honest with you. And if you want to use somebody else and just use me as an agent, go ahead.
We got to lower his blood pressure.
Dude, that's a nerve.
I think
and this is why I became an agent, because they don't like.
Why don't you read Mark's comment? But do it your best NPR voice.
You read it.
Until you take the profit motive out of healthcare in this country, we are doomed. We are one of the few industrialized nations in the world that doesn't have universal healthcare, and it shows in our infant mortality rate and our life expectancy.
Devil's advocate here, Mark Moot.
I'm going to do it too.
Yeah, get him. You want me to get him? How do you want that to be paid for? Do you want the government telling you what doctor you can go to, what surgery you can go to? Because universal health care is just going to be, instead of the insurance companies telling you what you can do and what you can't do, it's going to be the government telling you what you can do. Is that where you're going to go with that?
See, as somebody,
I'm going to ask Isaac a question.
Yeah.
So let's just say you commit a crime.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And you're facing 20 years. And you got two choices.
That's a couple things I can think of that'll get you 20, but I don't. Yeah. Okay.
You got number one, a really high paid attorney to defend you.
Yeah.
And you got a public defender.
Okay.
Which one are you going to trust that are going to really put your best interest to heart?
The expensive one, of course.
Expensive. Why?
Yeah. Because they're going to take care of me. They have a reputation.
Because they're making more money.
And they're making more money.
Yeah.
Universal health care is the public defender of medical. Right? You want there to be high specialized people.
Right.
You have to get the profit incentive in order to attract people who are really good at their job.
My argument would be, why can't you have a mixed system? Why can't you have a mixed system where somebody gets freaking cancer, they don't have to freaking pay for it, and you know what? They don't have to pay for it, but they go to the public person because that's all they have. They don't have the money to afford freaking the best lawyer or the best doctor. But they still don't have to lose their livelihood because they can't afford $15,000 and they lose their house and their credit drops and all this stuff, and it snowballs out of control.
Well, okay. In order to do that, how do you stop? Let me set the stage first. Let's just say you have two systems. You have the paid for system. So you're a doctor and you want to use traditional out of pocket and you get the best specialized profit incentive.
Right.
And then you get the public one.
Right.
How many doctors are going to be like, oh, I got this education. Let me join the one that can't pay me a lot.
Right.
Yeah.
Versus all the doctors are going to be over on the paid system.
Right.
Who's gonna agree to service people on the free?
You know what you're going to end up getting is the government paying, like they do the lawyers right now that go public and they pay for their medical, or they'll pay for their college and stuff like that, right?
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
You get the public defender in all cases.
Yeah. And the other thing I can see arguing for the don't go down the route of universal health care is, right now I pay $300 per month no matter what, just in case something, God forbid,
you might end up paying way more.
What happens if I have to pay more in taxes? Like, I don't want that to happen either.
Exactly. Because now it's less transparent. You don't even know what portion of your taxes is going towards that.
Right. So I don't want it to get worse.
We need to talk to our cousins in Canada because they have universal health care up there.
Yeah.
And we have to talk to him about
But like,
it.
I would love for, hey, my kid's sick. I got to take him to the hospital to get whatever. Or like go to the doctor for checkups. Like, that small stuff is taken care of. And then if you want to go privatized and you want to, like, they just come to America and get the best doctor.
That's exactly right. Right.
So it's like,
who pays for it when you go to the doctor and you want everything for free?
Yeah. I understand that. I understand.
What Canada does with us is they use our for-profit system so that when their system can't handle it, they offload it to us. If we go that route, who's going to be our United States to offload our stuff to?
Mexico.
Why don't we?
You are going to go to Mexican prison, followed by El Salvador.
Whoa. I wonder how much I wonder what the Canadian. And I should really look into this.
I can chat GPT.
Let's talk to somebody.
No. How hard is it for me to get Canadian citizenship?
Pretty hard.
How much does that cost?
How hard is it?
Because what I'll do, I'll get Canadian citizenship. I just go visit our cousins up in Canada, go to the doctor once a year.
You want like dual American Canadian?
Yeah.
Take care of this. The medical
take care of my medical stuff. Get my prescriptions and then bring them home.
It was probably easier about 6 months ago. I'm just going to throw that out there. I don't know what the answer is, but I'm going to guess it's probably a little bit easier 6 months ago.
Go up to Canada, go to the doctors once a year, get my yearly physical, and then come back. Don't pay for insurance and save my $300 per month.
All right, here we go. You ready?
Yeah.
So this is ChatGPT. So you want to be a Canadian citizen, a dual U.S. citizen, want to be a Canadian citizen.
Yes.
You can't apply for dual citizenship. You can't apply for dual citizenship. I was like, you need to become a Canadian citizen through one of these paths. So they're not going to let you be an American Canadian.
Damn.
If you are, if one of your parents was Canadian, you may be eligible.
What about cousins?
Doesn't say cousins here. Canadian permanent residency naturalization. Apply for permanent residency via work, family sponsorship, or express entry. Oh man. Live in Canada as a PR.
Must be some stupid Canadian term.
For at least 3 out of 5 years. Apply for citizenship, pass the test, take the oath. Canada allows dual citizenship. You don't have to announce. Wait, it does.
Can we pause real quick? How Canadian do you think that test is? Like, you're sitting outside a jacuzzi. Somebody hands you a dart and asks you to take a rip.
Yeah.
What's the?
There's the moose.
There's a moose that walks by as you're sitting in the jacuzzi taking a dip.
Wow.
You're smoking a dart, and your buddy down the road comes down and says,
"You can't apply for dual citizenship, but you can become a Canadian citizen and an American citizen at the same time. You can do.
What's the difference?
It says you can't apply for both at the same time. I think is what it's saying.
Oh, so I have one, and then I can go get another. You can't do them both.
Canada allows dual citizenship. You don't have to renounce your U.S. citizenship.
Yes. Okay. So how do I become a Canadian citizen right now?
I told you. You have to
Pass the test.
apply for permanent residence via work, family sponsorship, or you got to get a job in Canada. Lumberjack.
You might just want to pay your $300 a month. This sounds
Live
like
in
a
Canada for at least 3 out of the next 5 years.
Worth it.
Apply for citizenship. Wow. So you have to get, I see. You have to apply for permanent residency via work, family sponsorship, or express entry.
Family sponsorship.
Then live in Canada as a PR, permanent resident, for 3 out of the 5 years.
Oh, I'm not doing that. No, nobody likes it up there. Go up there.
Apply for citizenship. Yeah, you're going to have to move to Canada for 3 years. We're going to have to stream you in.
But so then what's Mexico like? Because I think Mexico, like from doing mission trips with mom and dad, like you go to the pharmacy, you get anything for like $2. You get anything for $2.
Are you considering getting medical
from the cartel?
All I'm saying,
back this up. You're talking about not paying $300 on your paycheck and getting medical stuff from Mexico.
Listen, Luke. You want your weight loss drug? I'm gonna go to Mexico. I'm gonna get it for you,
dude. It's
for $2.
Yeah, it's gonna end up being really good.
The problem is I'm gonna have to pay off a cartel guy like $3,000, but I'm gonna get there.
Okay, let's see. Dual citizenship to Mexico. See what we got to do for this one.
Kellen says schedule your doctor's appointment now because you'll be waiting a year. See, that's what I'll schedule it a year out. I'll just go up there once a year, get my physical, and then come home. I'm a Canadian citizen now.
I do want to talk to whomever lives in Canada.
We could talk to real. I bet Michael will hop on here.
Michael or Edward.
They would both. Yeah.
Sarah's back on, by the way.
I'm on the phone.
Sarah,
I am. I'm back. I have to say one more thing because it makes me mad. Sorry, I'm not going to swear. It would be cheaper for me to quit my job and get on government health insurance. Now the doctors might not be as great. However, you can still go to Cleveland Clinic if you have government health insurance.
Wow.
It would be cheaper for me to quit my job and go there.
There are so many situations where it's cheaper to do things like that than it is to do it the right way.
Yeah.
100%. Thanks, Sarah.
And also, you can get your stuff in Mexico just at the pharmacy along the street. I did it on the island. I got Zofran because you have to have that prescribed here, but you can get your weight loss medicine there.
Okay.
But you can't bring it back.
Oh, I'll bring
they
it back.
take it.
Unless you stick it in your butthole. Then you can bring it back.
What you're going to need to get is a mule.
The old... what do they call it? The old...
It's a mule as he brings the drugs across. I mean,
I'll be cool.
Sick is why is Isaac volunteering to keep going back and
what do they call it? What do they call your something purse? Oh,
your purse? There's a word for it?
I don't know.
There's some street name for your butthole. That's what it's called.
I'm not volunteering. You can do that. I'm already booked for next year for Mexico. You can do that. I'm not.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you calling in that. We'll talk about that.
Prison wallet?
Yeah.
Prison wallet. That's it.
Your prison wallet.
Prison wallet.
Your prison wallet, prison pocket, nature pocket, your brown safe, and your
prison purse.
Your prison purse, brown safe, and your backpack.
Safe. Dude.
So gross.
You want to check it? You can have it.
I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know.
So that's the other thing too. Like, there's ways to finagle your way through the system. So like,
I know an example.
I could divorce my wife.
Yep.
Divorce my wife.
Yep.
Who works part-time.
Yep.
And just have her, since we're planning on having kids, have her, since she's not employed, just say she's living on the streets.
Yep.
Live in my house, and then have her get on government insurance and pay for the kids and everything in the future.
My father-in-law and mother-in-law, perfect example. Mother-in-law has MS. Can't work, right? Father-in-law retires and then has to keep working to pay for his health insurance because he's not old enough to get on insurance. But while he's working, she can't get on Medicaid or Medicare because she's not at that age yet, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's making too much money with his retirement and his other stuff. So he has to work to get health benefits, but makes too much money for her to go on Medicaid. Right? So follow all that?
Oh, yeah.
So I'm literally like, you guys need to get a divorce.
Right.
You get a divorce.
Right.
She would have no income, be on Medicaid.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have to work. And, well, you would still have to work, but it wouldn't be paying as much, but she'd be on Medicaid and be covered.
And just get a divorce legally and just say, hey, we're going to split everything evenly or whatever. And it's just going to be, we've agreed upon terms on
now
our own.
They're past that because they're both old enough now where they're retired and they're on Medicare.
But it's like, how
does that make sense?
Since I can abuse the system, why don't you just do me a solid?
Right.
Let me freaking not.
Right. I mean, it's the same thing that goes back into, okay.
Like, how is that fair? She got MS. Yeah. Like, that's not right.
But they're making Bob work because he has to pay for his own medical insurance.
When he could be home taking care of his wife with MS.
Right. If he doesn't work, say he doesn't work, they can't pay the bills, but they'll both be on Medicare or Medicaid.
Right.
Like, what do you do? Like, how is that fair? And of course, my mother-in-law would not get a divorce. Bob was all for it, but he wouldn't get a divorce. Man. I just don't understand how that works.
It just falls back to like the government being inefficient, and if we went that route, I just feel like it would be even worse off.
Yeah,
which is what I'm terrified of. I don't want it to be worse.
Yeah, so many scams you can run. Another scam you could do that I've always thought about doing, but nobody will bite on it, is put all of our credit cards in Maggie's name.
Yeah, and just run that shit.
Run them up. Run up the credit cards. Cash advances. Just take as much cash as you can.
Have her file bankruptcy by herself.
House is in my name.
Yeah.
House is in my name.
Yeah.
Have her file bankruptcy.
Yeah.
They don't touch the house. Yep. They don't touch anything, and you're fine. Just rotate that every 3 years.
If you're going to do this, don't say it publicly. And
I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it because Maggie's too upstanding citizen. I would totally do it.
Yeah, because like the worst thing, you're getting married. All you're doing is getting the law involved.
Yeah,
because it's like Shelby was completely separate. I could have bought that. We only used my income to buy the house, so we buy the house. We just put it in my name, only in my name, and then she has student loans. Why pay the student loans? Just don't pay the student loans.
As long as you never need her income. Because if you don't pay student loans, by the way, if you don't pay student loans, those will stay with you for a long time.
Yeah, but who cares?
There's forever.
Who cares?
Student loans are forever. Student loans are forever. Any government loan is always forever.
Yeah. Who cares?
Except for FHA.
Just let her Just let her.
As long as she's not working.
Who cares? Let her credit go to 0.
Yep.
But who cares? Like, and while it's higher, before we start doing this, take out like 1 million credit cards and just run those babies
Nothing to say.
Nothing
stops you.
And then you can file bankruptcy. Student loans stay with you, but the credit cards disappear, and then just do it again.
And I have no problem doing that to a credit card company because they're freaking crooks.
Right.
I have no problem.
They make money off of
I have no problem.
They're literally predatory because if they weren't, they wouldn't be around.
Justified fraud. We started the show by talking about how we're against fraud, and now we're teaching people how to do fraud.
That would be. I would do that tomorrow, man.
We are teaching folks how to do fraud. We are doing that.
Credit card, I would do that. I'm not. Maggie is the better voice.
Yeah, I have no allegiances to credit cards.
No, hell no.
Maybe sprinkle in words allegedly and hypothetically into the comment.
Wait. While we have Kellen on.
Yeah.
They were talking about birth control the other day.
Were they?
Like Joe and Kellen were talking about birth control, and I was golfing and I was listening in my ear, and they were talking about like birth control and condoms and like how what happens if a kid gets pregnant young and what we need to teach in schools. All I did was put pull out. Improved pull-out game, right? And then I was like, my response was, I'm only putting this to see if Kellen says, "Oh my God,"
right?
Or ask Joe what that is. And Kellen immediately was like, "I know what pull-out game is." I'm like, yeah, Kellen knows what pull-out game is. Yeah. And then it went into like a 10-minute rant on how that is terrible advice not to listen to the MLO bros.
Right.
And we are a rated R TV or rated R.
In our household, our mom's a nurse. So like we grew up with like everything's on the table when it comes to fetuses, vaginas, all parts
we're not
of the
shy.
body. We're not, so mom was always a very open book teaching us about all of these things. It was actually a very good upbringing and very smart of our mom to do that.
I mean, we're totally messy.
But in college, mom's like, I know what you're doing. Just be safe. Just wear condoms. And I literally say to her, to her face, "Don't worry, mom. I raw dog it." And then turn around and walk away. I raw dog it. I pull out. And she, I get a phone call.
Well, this show's going off the rails. Everybody just hang up now because this is going off the rails.
I get a phone call from my sister the next day, or you. I can't remember who. It's like, "Isaac."
No, that was Leanna. Leanna had to explain.
Why did I have to explain to mom what raw dogging it was yesterday? And then her mom come to me, Mom's like, "You didn't tell me what that meant. You better not be doing that. I'm going to kill you."
Maybe we're not ready for the airwaves yet. Maybe FCC.
We're in trouble for this conversation. You better not be doing that. Raw dog was not on that list of words.
It was not. It was not.
They probably. Oh my God! Sorry, everyone.
They might have a
problem. You better not be doing that. I said, I swear to God.
But the 80-year-old blue hairs are going to be objecting to this conversation,
and that's why I love to be so chaotic and antagonize people on the internet, because it's just. I've always done it.
Oh, mom is the best. Remember we were rolling.
He's so gullible.
Yeah,
he's so gullible.
But mom had some good ones too. We were rolling those clothespin cookies.
Yeah,
we're rolling the clothespin cookies. She's like, "Oh, it's just like rolling a joint," and all of us were like,
"Oh, yeah."
Well, Mom, there you go. So all right, we're at an hour and a half. This is going off the road. We're gonna get shut down.
Yeah, thanks, Isaac.
You're welcome. I'm just saying, the FAA or whoever they are, it's not on the list. That you're not allowed to say raw dog. So I think we're fine.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Sarah's texting.
I will have that conversation, I'm sure.
Yeah. That's not gonna be us, Joe. That's all you. You probably want to keep us out of the responsible conversations.
Thank you everybody for watching. We appreciate you for being here with us today. If you ever need a loan, mortgage, if you ever need
birth control advice,
if you ever need
fraud, how to fraud credit card,
a loan officer, a real estate agent, if you ever want to use Youngstown Studio, start your hit album and nobody believes you. You know who does believe you? Joe believes you.
He'll laugh at you the entire time you're saying.
He'll let you record anything you want in the studio. You just got to pay him. I don't know what the cost is. You've got to call him and figure that out. But you can come in here, start your own.
They have a marketing company.
They have a marketing company. Yeah.
Is that a marketing company?
Yeah.
He's got all kinds of stuff. Joe's awesome. So you can come down here to Youngstown.
Yeah.
He's a computer company.
He's got everything. So just call him whatever you need.
What else do you have?
Not saying. You guys aren't safe. Not safe.
We're not safe.
Not safe.
He doesn't want to talk. He doesn't want us to ruin his brand.
He doesn't want us to ruin his brand.
He doesn't want to talk about it. But call Joe. Maybe Google him. I don't know.
Google Joe. He doesn't want us to ruin his brand. Again, it's been straight downhill for the 5 years Joe's known us. Just straight down freaking hill.
You're friends with those guys? Yes.
I have to justify that every week to somebody.
Do you really? How often does somebody say, wow, you know
about
those
once
guys?
a week?
Really?
About once a week.
Yeah, that blows.
Yeah, like most of it's my wife though. My wife has objection, but
let me tell you what.
You better not be showing your wife that group chat.
Oh God, that group chat can never go anywhere.
No, that's private.
It's funny is now too with like my wife. Like it's no longer like before. It was like just Jeremy. Like me hanging out with Jeremy was always bad. Now it's anybody involved in any of this. It's Joe. It's Justin. It's.
Well, she had hope that I would be a good influence, but it worked the other way around.
Totally,
like, I'm just compromised.
Yeah, you've been compromised. There is, hey, I'm going to go hang out with Jeremy. Oh, God. like it's bad now. Like I'd say we're going ghost hunting, and it was like, oh, God.
The worst to this day is still the phone call I had to have your wife when we were driving to the hospital, following the ambulance, and Joe's driving, and I'm like texting her. I'm like, hey, don't freak out. Don't freak out. Everything's fine. Luke's at the hospital. You had to take a little ambulance ride.
The look that I got.
Don't freak out. Call me when you can. Immediately calls me.
You gotta give Maggie credit though. Yeah. Like she did not freak out.
No, she came to the hospital, kept her cool.
The thing is though, like
it was kind of terrifying.
But it's like she's so used to disappointment at this point. Like she's not like nothing. Like I feel like it's like
can be unfazed.
Like it's like I have completely broken this lady. Where it's just like whatever. This guy's an idiot. I'm married to him. This is what
I just sit next to the hospital bed and I see Maggie walking down the hallway. Maggie walks from the hospital bed and is just like, "How you doing, honey?" And Luke and I'm just like, "Oh my god, oh my god, this is so scary." And Luke's like, "Not great." And they're just looking at each other. I'm like, oh my god, being a husband. I'm like, oh, she's gonna stab him.
The worst though is, I think we talked about this before. We're sitting there. I'm gonna tell you again that we're sitting there. Maggie's totally disappointed in us, right? Totally disappointed, like just like normal. And a nurse, like cute little young nurse, walks over, and it's just like out of nowhere. She's like right next to Maggie. I just want to say, I can't wait.
Fan.
I'm a huge fan. I listen to you guys all the time.
You guys really telling how it is.
Yeah, love you guys. I'm not even your nurse. I just want to say that. And Maggie just looks at her and it's like, "Are you serious?"
Encouraging this behavior.
I'm like, "Miss Nurse, you know what they say? Never meet your heroes."
It was so funny. So, all right, we're done. Friday, Thursday. We'll be back Thursday.
Alcatrona.
Friday at 9. Alcatrona is coming on. Have your questions ready because I want to ask him everything. I mean, we got this guy here. Let's ask him. So school, everything. So I'm excited.
Yeah, me too.
So, all right,
bye everybody. Thank you so much for watching.
Thank you for listening to this show on Youngstown Studio. This is original Youngstown content. Feel free to share our videos and tell your friends about us. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel